Arsenal versus Leeds United, live Monday on Fox Soccer.
Score in this third round FA Cup tie is Fleetwood Town 0, Blackpool 1. Blackpool fans that have made the short journey, indeed a few of these might live closer to Fleetwood than Blackpool, such as the close proximity between the two seaside resorts. Fleetwood with nothing like the profile of its big brother, although Fleetwood is actually in the greater Blackpool conurbation. It was once a prominent deep sea fishing port, but since the 1970s fishing industry has declined and the town has undergone economic difficulties. It was the Cod Wars dispute over fishing rights between the UK and Iceland which caused many of the problems. The trawlers that emanated out of Fleetwood mainly fished the Atlantic, and that's why the fans got the nickname of the Cod Army. Fish still a big industry in Fleetwood, though the job's mainly in processing rather than fishing itself these days. Well, Mickey Mellon still with the hope of an upset here. His side have shown why they're riding so high in the conference. And many believe that if they did get promotion, they could do a Crawley Town and compete very well in League Two next season. Certainly got the infrastructure here. Very attractive stadium, a superb pitch. I emphasise again, the best non-league playing surface I think I've ever seen. And Blackpool lead through that goal from Lualua and have the win very much the championship side in their favour in this second period.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Both managers have kept an unchanged teams out there, so it's the same 11v11. Only for an injury, I think would there have been changes, but yeah, I think both managers would have had a positive message from both sets of players in that dressing room at half-time. I think you'd have said, from Ian Holloway's perspective, go out there and make your chances. When you get the chances, be a little bit more clinical, as we saw with Tom Ince, in that just near the end of that first half. If we just look back on that replay of an awkward fall, and hopefully gets up and shrugs it off. But I think, Ian Holloway would be pleased, as I said. Mickey Mellon will be also delighted, but concerned in the meantime that his main man there, Jamie Vardy, who was so excellent in the first half, just limping off there. Looks like he's going to come back on, but he won't want to see too much of that, because he has done exceptionally well in that opening spell.
Possession via Maguire will go back to Blackpool, and goalkeeper Mark Howard excelled himself with a double save from Vardy and Till, with The score already 1-0 in Blackpool's favour. He had some work to do as Fleetwood enjoyed a really good 20-minute spell towards the end of the first half. Oh, that's a magnificent goal! What a brilliant strike from Matt Phillips! You won't see many better FA Cup goals this weekend than that. No chance at all for Scott Davis in the Fleetwood goal. The Blackpool fans behind that goal had a bird's eye view. It was sensational.
Wow, what a strike from Matt Phillips. I mean, I said just a couple of minutes before, you know, Ian Holloway might say you've got to be a little bit more clinical, but you don't see a more clinical piece of play. Matt Phillips, he touches the ball, gets it out of his feet, a couple of touches, and bang, straight into that top far left-hand corner for the keeper. And you're absolutely right, Scott Davis, absolutely no chance.
It was just the slightest of deflections. It's definitely Phillips's goal. How much that deflection made to the eventual outcome, we'll leave that one hanging. But there's almost a goal back, and it's that danger man Vardy. He got a clean header and planted it just over the crossbar.
Yeah, it was a great effort. Another chance, another signal to this Blackpool team. Again, look, you know, just the two centre-halves sort of exposed for a period there. And Vardy, when he gets into those areas and he gets a chance, you just feel that he's going to possibly put one of those in and agonisingly over the crossbar. But again, they really do deserve something from this game, the way they've gone about their business.
Well, Blackpool will not need to be reminded, and manager Ian Holloway, that Fleetwood were 2-0 down here in the second round to Yeovil Town of League One. And Mickey Mellon's side were 2-0 down as late as the 81st minute, but they eventually pulled it back to 2-2 and went down to Somerset and handsomely won the replay. Mangan.
That experience will stand them in good stead, you know. Mickey Mellon looks quite calm on the sidelines. You know, he knows that he's up against a very, very good side. But, you know, having that experience of having a belief in themselves that they came back in the last round, I think, you know, will count for something. He's got to be offside there. I don't know if he's flagged for offside, but, yeah, it's important that they keep playing the way they have. Since that 25th minute opening goal, you know, that last 15 minutes of the first half, they showed a maturity and a calmness about their play. Now they've conceded the second, they've got to do exactly the same again. Keep building, keep playing, keep being patient, and look to Vardy, who looks the main threat.
This is Mangan. Pass from Bealey, easily intercepted. Blackpool failed to pick out the run of Loa. Jamie Milligan. McNulty. Kavanagh. Doing exactly what John mentioned, just not being daunted by going 2-0 behind, playing their football still here, Fleetwood. Long way to go yet. Baptiste. Kavanagh. Maguire. Mangan. Kavanagh. Here's McNulty. Kavanagh. Header away, not a particularly good one from Eardley. This is Junior Brown. Jamie Vardy earns a corner out of Eardley. Looking to take it quickly, Vardy decides that he'll get himself into the middle. That's probably the best plan for Fleetwood. Reaches McNulty, stabbed it towards goal, and Blackpool clear their lines well. Milligan, Kavanagh, dominating possession, Fleetwood. There's a push, needless one really, from Baptiste.
Yeah, it's a clumsy challenge for me. You know, the ball's being played out there. Never like to see a defender go out there and just concede a free kick in such a dangerous area. Vardy was the favourite to get the ball, and he didn't need to do that. But you know, it's similar to the first half. You know, when they conceded that first goal, they sat back. Blackpool invited the pressure. Exactly the same now.
Flighted in by Milligan. Danny Wilson, who met it with a firm header. Here's Kavanagh. Bealey. Wilson. Good ball to pick out Tom Ince. Showed some promise in the Liverpool reserves. 19-year-old Paul Ince made a permanent move to Blackpool back in August. This is a decent run from Phillips. Appeals for handball there. It's just reared up awkwardly at Kavanagh.
Just again, that quality Matt Phillips doing ever so well. He's had an excellent game so far. You see the threat there, drifting past the defender very easily and not really being able to pick out a player. But again, Ian Holloway, we're delighted to have got that second goal, because that has settled them down somewhat and put the tie at least to a point where he feels a little bit more in control. But what they mustn't do, as I said before, is just sit back and be a little bit sloppy and allow Fleetwood to play their football. I would be just urging them on to close them down that little bit quicker. Put Fleetwood off their stride a bit. Don't let them get back into this game. And at the moment, you know, again, you don't want to be giving them half chances. You don't want to be inviting that pressure onto you because of the changes that Blackpool have made in that back four. Protect them.
What that Matt Phillips second goal for Blackpool has done has made the next goal crucial, because if Blackpool were to get it, that's tie over, one suspects. But Fleetwood very much look like a side who've got a goal in them today. They need two. This is in by Eardley. Might need three, will need three. What a great finish by Tom Ince. That was sheer quality.
Yeah, what a fantastic goal. You know, you said it. I think that is the final end of the coffin for Fleetwood. I've got to say at 3-0, you know, you've got to think that that's over and done with for me. But lovely pullback coming down here. Great ball back in, but you've got to say Tom Ince with a spectacular finish, just slightly on the half volley, but he's dispatched it with great aplomb, great technique. And at 3-0, I've got to say, I've got to agree, it's tie over.
Well, his dad would have been proud of that. Third goal of the season for Tom Ince. Now scored two absolute crackers in this second half from Phillips and Ince.
There's a lovely pullback from Ardley, you know, getting down that right-hand side, you know, coming back into the team and just showing, you know, what a good player he is. We saw him in the Premier League, we've seen him do it here, and you know, he really does have a fine delivery on him coming in from that wide area.
Forward by Nathan Pond. Rather hopeful ball, cleared easily by Baptiste. Mangan. Once upon a time when league clubs came up against non-leaguers, fitness was an issue, but so many of the top-level non-league clubs are full-time these days. Won't be a problem for Fleetwood. Scoreline certainly is. Vardy nicely into the path here of Kavanagh, couldn't quite take it on, but it's opening up here for Till. Oh, it's a disappointing end to what could have been something more promising.
Yeah, things haven't quite run for Fleetwood here, have they, this afternoon? You know, I think they've played very well. They've shown a good technical ability. They've had composure when they've got on the ball, and it'll be disappointing if they don't get a goal and get some sort of reward for the endeavours that they've shown here this afternoon.
To take nothing away from the quality of the two second-half Blackpool goals, scoreline doesn't entirely tell the story of 58 minutes here at the Highbury Stadium.
No, I don't think it does at all. And on paper before the game, when you look at it, you'd say that Blackpool's quality should shine through. You're never quite sure. Fleetwood coming into this game, with just that with that great run of results they've recently got. But you've got to say, here's another breakaway, another shot. But Matt Phillips, full of confidence after that spectacular strike. I think the crucial second goal. But you look at Lualua's first goal, quality written all over it. Matt Phillips, the second one, stunning strike, and of course Tom Ince there. Again, just that quality really showing through, the pedigree that these players for Blackpool have got.
Mickey Mellon still driving his players on here. The Cod Army in deep waters. We're looking to the fresh faces from the substitutes bench for Fleetwood in an attempt to do something about the scoreline. They've got an interesting striker amongst predominance of Englishmen in the Fleetwood squad. There's a Brazilian, Magno Vieira, who's been around the non-league scene, has also had a spell in the Football League as well. He was up at Carlisle for a time. 26-year-old striker may come on to play a part. He was top scorer for Fleetwood last season with 22 goals. And Gareth Seddon is another quality non-league striker. Got a lot of goals in his career, so we're likely to see both those fairly soon, I would have thought. Now are gone.
Vieira back at Highbury, hey?
Very good. Thierry Henry, not back at Highbury, back at the Emirates. It's caught a few eyes. John, what do you make of that one?
Well, Gervinho and Shamak going away on African Cup of Nations. A lot of burden had been on Robin van Persie's shoulders. Been doing spectacularly well. I think he's got 2 in the last 5. But before that, what a run he was having. But I think everybody's just dreaming that Thierry Henry can rewind the clock. I don't think it's possible. He's not the player he was. Of course he's not. But what a great story. But also, from Arsene Wenger's point of view, very difficult to go into the transfer market and get somebody at this stage of the season. But great romantic story for him, his return to the ground.
Certainly is. Free kick here for Fleetwood. We need a goal. Very nearly got one at 2-0. Seconds after that explosive strike from Matt Phillips, Jamie Vardy headed a good chance just over the crossbar. Takes his place in the heart of that Blackpool penalty area now for... Well, actually, Blackpool got the free kick in the end. I thought it had been awarded to Fleetwood. It's certainly the arm of the referee was pointing towards that Blackpool goal, but maybe just pointing out his decision to the Fleetwood players that it would be a Blackpool free kick. Milligan. McNulty. Nice layoff on the chest from Vardy. Till finding Bealey. Peter Till again. It's a foul. The assistant on that touchline, Alf Greenwood, not happy with the challenge there on Peter Till.
Well, I think even more disappointed the referee didn't wave play on, and it looked like Fleetwood had the advantage. Quite so sure, because I think probably Bob Harris, the left back, had stopped, but he should always play to the whistle, because Fleetwood would have been in. Another chance, and they've got to take these chances. Got to take these chances. That's been the difference in this game. We just talked about the quality of Blackpool, but it doesn't reflect the way that Fleetwood have gone about it. But they haven't been able to take those chances they've had.
It was an excellent free kick from Milligan, repelled really well by Howard, who won't be called into action again, the Blackpool goalkeeper. It's the shot from Mangan. Flies into the Fleetwood fans behind that goal. Look, you're right, they've certainly had chances. That header I mentioned for Vardy, the chance he had in the first half, and Mangan had a decent opportunity. And there's still more than a quarter of the game to go. Well, it's rare, you'd have to say, for a side at the level Blackpool are to let this sort of lead slip on a non-league ground. And of course, as Fleetwood chase their first goal of the day, Blackpool may find more gaps. Frenchman Ludovic Silvestre will take the Blackpool free kick. Like a number in the first half, catching on the breeze.
I think you're being generous to him there. I think you just got under it slightly, but you're right. It's the wind causing them one or two problems. I said it could be an advantage. I also said it could be a disadvantage, and they're proving just catching it, I'm sure, taking it away. But yeah, the rare time that we've seen Blackpool lack that quality that's just sort of, I suppose, defined this game. That extra little bit that they've got shone through so far.
Maybe an opening here now for Vardy. Really attacks our Blackpool defence. Jamie Vardy. Excellent block from Harris. Fleetwood keep the attack alive. Fed in by Peter Till. Both teams claiming the decision, and it's a corner. Great play though from Vardy.
Great play. You know, again, he's been the outstanding player, not just for Fleetwood, but okay, Matt Phillips done well, but he's been outstanding in this game so far.
Howard looking to come amongst the crowd, didn't begin to get anywhere close to it, and had Nathan Pond being able to head that goalwards. There wasn't much cover on the line as the goalkeeper was off limits.
Well, I think Mark Howard was complaining that he was getting impeded there by Maguire, I think it was. But the referee looking straight there, I don't think would have given it. So again, maybe the wind just making it awkward for Pond to get anything on target.
Mentioning that several championship clubs were tracking the progress of Jamie Vardy. I'll tell you somebody else who had been impressed by him, Ian Holloway. As you were alluding to there, John, you put Vardy up against what we've seen up top for Blackpool, and he wouldn't look out of place from what we've seen, certainly on today's evidence, at that higher level.
No, well, I was really excited about looking and seeing how Jamie Vardy did. You know, I've got a lot of friends down at AFC Wimbledon, and you know, he's done very well, and people were very much aware of the lower leagues, and we've seen, you know, this afternoon absolutely that he's capable of making the step up to a much higher level.
The sellout crowd at the Highbury Stadium, 5,092. Really enjoying this cup tie, particularly those at the right end of the ground and the right end of the scoreline. Blackpool will certainly remember those two fantastic goals in this second half from Phillips and Ince. As good as you'll see anywhere, I suspect, this weekend.
It's a great occasion, this, you know, for Fleetwood. You know, we talked about Andy Pilley and what he's done for this club, putting in the money, bringing in a good manager in Mickey Mellon, building a good team. As here we see them just away on the breakaway again.
Loire looking for Ince. It wasn't a particularly good pass.
No, it wasn't, but he's, you know, fantastic. You know, you'd mentioned Fleetwood, you know, this area of the coastline just north of Blackpool, and how it's been decimated over the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you know, under decline. So, you know, I think there's a lot of optimism here from this football side, and they've done themselves a real credit here this afternoon. And, you know, if they can get themselves into League Two, that'd be a huge achievement for this team.
Still willing, still very capable of scoring a goal. Bealey. Sylvester. Loire rather, is trying to make advancements, cut out by McNulty. Sloppy pass from Phillips, straight to the Fleetwood danger man. Vardy scores! What a fine finish! Given the opportunity after a terrible pass from Matt Phillips, but he still had work to do, and how well he accomplished it. He looks a player.
Well, absolutely everything they deserved, everything Fleetwood deserved, everything that Vardy, Jamie Vardy, we've been talking about him, I've been, you know, praising him, you know, just saying what a good prospect, what a good talent he is, and there, sloppy play there. Ian Holloway will be fuming on the bench, because it does give them a glimmer of hope, I tell you. You know, they've got the ability to suddenly get back in, the wind will be in their sails, but it's all about Jamie Vardy here, has a great touch, but dispatches it across the body of Mark Howard, gives him no chance. And I'll tell you what, there's a little glimmer of hope.
The window is open. And there's the chairman, Andy Pilley, the man who's guided Fleetwood Town to the level that they currently reside in non-league circles. When he first came to the club 8 years ago, their home attendances were 80. Over 5,000 here, and the vast majority willing them on to a comeback. And still 20 minutes to go. Did I write them off too quickly?
Corner. I think I did. I wrote them off. You know, as you would expect. I think, you know, I couldn't take my eyes off the game. Got to be honest. I'm intrigued and fascinated by, you know, watching this good side play well. Looking at Blackpool, how they respond now is going to be absolutely crucial, because the crowd really are going to get behind this entertaining side.
Chance, Vardy! Good save from Howard. Struck that well.
You can see the frustration on Vardy's face. He knew that was a great opportunity, you know, quickly to get the second, and that really would have put Blackpool under pressure, but Howard, standing strong in the face of that, maintains this 3-1 advantage. But I tell you what, they're going to bomb forward for this last 20 minutes.
In by Junior Brown, way by Wilson. Milligan works it wide here for Bealey. Mangan. Tails up here now, Fleetwood. Nice layoff from Vardy. Peter Till appeals for handball. And the referee not interested in the Fleetwood claims.
Well, we've got a game on, haven't we? Third round of the FA Cup. You know, absolutely love this occasion, love this day of the fixture calendar. And we're not disappointed here this afternoon.
And they're bang on top at the moment. Vardy fires it in. And Howard unattended at his near post. And if they are going to bow out, they're not going out meekly. It wouldn't be a side under Mickey Mellon, who demands so much of his players. Not to really give it their all and not leave anything out there once they return to the dressing room and asking questions of the Blackpool defence. Vardy's goal coming at a crucial time. There was his chance to make it 3-2.
It would have taken something special to score from there, but he's shown again, you know, his technique and his ability of being able to get a shot away when the ball came into that area. So you saw also Blackpool having two men on the post, and Howard in the form that he's been in this game, you know, comfortable save in the end. But this is where we've got 20 minutes of real hard work. And the one plus for Fleetwood is I'm not convinced still by this back four of Blackpool. I think there's chances still to come in this game, but they've got to keep pushing forward and they've got to keep supporting Vardy. He can't do it all on his own up front. He's been ably assisted by one or two players. But again, now they've really got to get on that front foot another 5-10 yards up the pitch.
Mickey Mellon still has those two aforementioned strikers available to him, Magno Vieira and Gareth Seddon. Blackpool have got one Kevin Phillips amongst their replacements. A wonderful goal scorer of a terrific career. Oh, and it was nearly another from Matt Phillips. Struck the outside of the post, and we very nearly had a third spectacular Blackpool goal in this half.
Oh, he strikes that well, doesn't he? I mean, he cuts across the ball, but just drifts wide. It's beaten Scott Davis, all hands up, but all ends up, but just hits the outside of that post again. Matt Phillips showing he's got his shooting boots on here this afternoon.
He's got huge potential, hasn't he, Phillips? Only 20. Just needs to find a consistency and maybe a position. We saw him when he first came into the Blackpool side, and he came from Wickham, where he was predominantly a right winger. He's playing down the middle for Ian Holloway at the moment. Looks as though he enjoys that role. But the potential is certainly there. You've seen the power he packs in that right foot. Quarter of an hour to go. You just felt it was never going to be dull. There was so much hype, so much talk, so much interest, so much hunger for kick-off time in this Fylde Coast derby. It hasn't disappointed. And a free kick here, another one for Milligan to take. Well, this is central and very difficult sometimes to get the angle right. I'm always surprised sometimes when teams get free kicks in this area. They don't work it wide to a fullback and then deliver from the angle. Milligan plays it centrally and Blackpool deal with it comfortably. You don't see that very often, though.
No, you're right. I totally agree with you. Very awkward direction ball coming in.
Here's a gap opening up for Tom Ince. Goalkeeper committed. Got a touch, but it's falling here nicely. And that's tie over. Matt Phillips. Wraps it up at 4-1 for Blackpool, and there's no way back for brave Fleetwood.
Yeah, you know, you said it. You were talking about the free kick, you know, going in from an awkward angle. Relatively easy for Blackpool to defend again and get the ball away from that danger area. And look how quickly they've broken away. What, within probably 10 seconds, they've gone down the other end. First chance. in second chance with the rebound, coming back in there, ball bouncing very kindly to Matt Phillips, and there he is on target to dispatch it neatly and tidily and make the game again comfortable for Blackpool at 4-1.
Professional job for Ian Holloway, and Blackpool always knew that it was a potential banana skin for his championship side. But their finishing has been exquisite. Phillips still with an opportunity to claim a hat-trick. Trying to set up a fifth goal there for the raiding Bob Harris. Corner. Of course, the problem for the Fleetwood fans is they're not going to be able to escape this defeat and scoreline, as so many of the fans of the rival clubs work together. And it'll take a while. In fact, it'll probably never go away, as far as the Blackpool fans to taunt their near neighbours. You can rest assured that they are friendly enough that Blackpool will be hoping that Fleetwood gain promotion this season. They can return to what is their priority at the end of today, and they'll be able to hold their heads up high that they played their part in an excellent cup tie.
Yeah, I think the Blackpool fans will appreciate the way that Fleetwood have gone about and played the style similar in many ways to Blackpool themselves, so they've done themselves great justice, Fleetwood.
Loa breaks here for Neil Eardley. Loa again. Silvestre. Basham. Ian Holloway going to make a substitution shortly. Gary Taylor-Fletcher is ready, going to replace the man who got the first goal today, Lamara Loa. Heading towards the final 10 minutes. Pretty hard yards now for Fleetwood.
Yeah, Loa's done very, very well. You know, he got that all so important opening goal after a great spell of the opening 25 minutes of the game. Looking at some of the stats from half-time, you know, 90% of his passes complete.
This is
as well as the main goal.
Phillips looking for that hat-trick goal, and he's got it. Well, what a day he's having, Matt Phillips. All his own work. And you suspect that these fans will be celebrating long into the early hours of tomorrow morning. The promenade in Blackpool will be alive and healthy.
Well, sensational goal. You know, he gets the starts the move and he finishes it off in emphatic style. Couple of step overs, cuts back inside, and you just see what Matt Phillips has been able to do here this afternoon. His hat-trick, well deserved, because he has been the outstanding player on the pitch this afternoon.
Well, I had the good fortune to be out in Colombia in the summer covering the Under-20 World Cup when Matt Phillips was part of an England squad that were pretty disappointing, and Phillips himself didn't pull up any trees in that tournament. But for Ian Holloway, not only producing today, but he'll be licking his lips at the championship games to come, with his strikers firing, and the likes of Taylor-Fletcher and Kevin Phillips. Taylor-Fletcher coming on here for Loa, having to settle for a place on the bench at the moment. This man was a regular for most of the Premier League season. He's got options now, and good options.
Well, I think he's going to be looking for the same sort of run that they had a couple of seasons ago when they went on that incredible run to get themselves into such a good position to get promoted to the Premier League. You know, similarities in many ways, that he's sort of laid down the challenge. They're a point off the playoff position at the moment in the Championship.
Fleetwood change comes in midfield, not in attack. Sean Clancy here, who's come on for Jamie Milligan. You have to say it again, it's not a 5-1 game, but you can't really legislate for the kind of finishing that Blackpool have produced in the second half. Clancy claiming a penalty, nothing doing.
Well, I think you sum it up there. You know, the quality that Blackpool have had in their finishing, and especially from Matt Phillips, has been sensational. I think it doesn't reflect the effort, the quality that Fleetwood have shown and the endeavour they've shown, because they really did sort of deserve not to be on the end of this sort of scoreline with some 7 or 8 minutes to go of the game. But they really have you know, gone about the business very well, Blackpool. You've got to say they played extremely well as Fleetwood have. Blackpool also have looked you know, very, very confident time, very slick, passed the ball around, and you know, finishing of the highest order.
Well, I'm glad to say we're going to see Kevin Phillips shortly. Always nice to see the veteran striker, tail end of his career now. He's going to come on to replace Angel Martinez, Spaniard in midfield. Will be replaced by 38-year-old Kevin Phillips. Signed by Blackpool in the summer, has an option for a further season, still keeps himself very, very fit. Blackpool is 7th club, and I suppose best known for his 6 seasons at Sunderland, where he scored 130 goals in a little over 230 games. It's going to be a corner. Ince can allow that ball to run on.
I think Fleetwood had a good claim for penalty there. It was Wilson who just had his hands up by his face, but maybe the referee felt that the ball hit him rather than him protecting it. But you know, nothing's really gone their way.
Oh, brilliant turn and a very decent save from Scott Davis. What a super turn this was from Basham.
Not a bad piece of skill, that, is it?
That's Premier League quality, isn't it? As has been the nature of the goals. But, you know, people will look at this and think that Fleetwood have been outclassed. It's just been class finishing that's done for them.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's what you've got to expect at this level. You know, there's, what did I say, something like 67 places between them, 70 places between them in the pyramid of the football. And you know, the class has come through, but you've got to hand it to Blackpool. You know, this is a tricky place to come, really tricky. You know, against a team that are full of confidence. They've got a great record, flying high in the conference, and you know, they've gone about their business very, very well. So full credit to the players, and also for Ian Holloway to set them up and make sure that they weren't complacent going into this fixture.
Kavanagh, Junior Brown, Clancy. Brown. Taylor Fletcher doing a good job preventing a cross in there from Junior Brown, and eventually loose control from Clancy. A Blackpool throw. Another rueful look from Andy Pilley, the Fleetwood chairman, just musing, I think, over the tremendous finishing we've seen from Blackpool in the second half. They led by only a goal to nil at half-time, thanks to Loa Loa. That was an excellent finish to a fine move. And nothing to match what we've seen in the second half. In scoring a cracker, two particularly good ones from Phillips. His third one wasn't bad either. Volley into the ground and bounced up and in off a post. Take great confidence from this, Blackpool.
Yeah, I think Matt Phillips' first goal, you know, just when they came back out for the second half, I think that was really the pivotal moment, because Blackpool hadn't done a lot since they got the opener. You know, they'd played well for the first 25 minutes, got the breakthrough on 24 with Loa Loa, but then it was all about Fleetwood. You know, we looked at the half-time analysis, we looked at the chance that they had. And you've got to say that some good goalkeeping from Mark Howard, slightly better finishing or clinical finishing. Fleetwood would have been in this game, but that for me was the turning point. That second goal for Blackpool. And really, you know, yes, it was a rueful look from the chairman, Andy Pilley, but he'll be proud of the way that the players have performed here this afternoon.
And in particular, that man Vardy, who's done his chances of gaining Football League status. Of course, he could do it this season with Fleetwood. And I think Mickey Mellon will be urging that January transfer window to come as quickly as possible, because he will be bracing himself for offers for Vardy after what we've seen today. No doubt about it. Silvestro.
I think there'll be a few Premier League players looking at one or two Blackpool players. You know, if Blackpool don't get promoted, it's going to be tough for them. And there'll be one or two players in this Blackpool team who will be thinking, you know, that they could make the step up themselves. So I think this afternoon has shown, you know, really two teams doing ever so well, one in the Championship, one in the Conference. And, it's been a joy to watch. They've really got the ball down. They've played on a fantastic pitch. We've mentioned it many times. Credit to Fleetwood, but it really has been a really good game to watch this.
Eardley will win the chase. Good run there from Kevin Phillips. Danger spotted well by Davis. But a lot is made of the professionalism of Fleetwood. Don't think this result will set them back any. They're too professional under Mickey Mellon for that. Jamie Vardy getting the local sponsors man of the match. Suspect they're not including Blackpool players in that, otherwise Matt Phillips would have been putting his head above the parapet.
Yeah, it's nice recognition of Jamie Vardy and the work that he's done and the quality he's shown here. But you're right. You know, I wouldn't say, you know, Matty Phillips obviously with his hat-trick has been the clear difference, but the quality Blackpool have had and the way they've set up those chances and taken them has been clinical, excellent, and full of quality that you would expect from, you know, an Ian Holloway side that we've seen over the last 2 or 3 years just have some real highs. And in Matty Phillips, they've got a youngster who is full of promise for the future.
Almost 1 minute of the minimum of 3 has elapsed, and Blackpool can play out the remaining seconds with extreme comfort here. And I'm sure when they're interviewed afterwards, several of the Blackpool players will be full of praise for their non-league neighbours. As we've said several times, acquitted themselves really well here, Fleetwood. You can see why they're so high in the conference table. And the very least they'll get is a playoff position in that division.
Yeah, well, Mickey Mellon will, you know, he'll appreciate the plaudits. But I tell you what, he'll also be frustrated, because he'll have known, you know, once they got back into that game after they conceded the first goal, They had a chance in this game, absolutely no doubt about it. They had a chance. They've got the players out there. They've got the, you know, in Jamie Vardy and the rest of them, Mangan and Peter Till there. They've caused problems, and they're the fine margins that these games change on. You know, and if they had got that equaliser that they so deserved in that spell of the second half, in the first half, would have been a very, very different game we'd have been talking about now.
Final minute then. Not the way you would have dreamt it in bed last night. Baptiste. Referee getting ready to confirm what we've known for some time here today, that Blackpool's name is in the hat for the 4th round of the world's most famous cup competition.
Well, that's the first time for some time, isn't it, for them? I don't think they've got beyond the 3rd round for...
Yeah, it's a while.
It's a while, isn't it?
5 years. It's joy for Blackpool. The Seasiders overcome the Cod Army comfortably in terms of the scoreline. The main points in the match came at the right time. Matt Phillips goes home with the match ball with a second half hat-trick. He also hit a post. He also gifted Fleetwood their only goal of the game, put away